Hi there. Yeah, it was kind of unplanned. If you guys want to stick around, you can. If not, go get some lunch, have some fun. But anyway, so I'm gonna have to go through this really fast. There's 35 slides. I'm gonna try to hit 5 minutes. Yeah, let's see how it goes. So I'm Carl Horkey. I'm a Canadian. I live in Austria right now. And I'm going to be talking about this low configuration tooling. So what is actually low configuration tooling? What's configuration, first of all? So we can say like configuration, an example of that is Webpack configuration. So you have some various loaders there, you have some various plugins. So how can we actually define this? So what is actually configuration? So Webpack, what is Webpack? Webpack is like, it's a code bundler, right? So it's something that allows you to take a bunch of different things and make it into a bunch of different other things that users can consume. So we can say like configuration is settings to adapt a code bundler to a specific web application. So you have your web application for your client that you need to build, and you can adapt it to that. But can we make this more generic somehow? Can we make this like a more generic definition? So maybe we can say instead of a code bundler, we can say generic tooling. So there's more than just Webpack out there that takes configuration, and we want to adapt it to multiple different use cases. So this is a definition that we're going to come back to a little bit later. So configuration is great, right? Everyone gets what they want, and everyone's happy, right? Isn't that the case? Yeah, so there's some industry phenomenon that I like to talk about here. So first of all, JavaScript fatigue. So this is something, maybe you guys have heard of it. There's been a lot of talk about it at this conference already. So Eric Clemens wrote the first blog post about this, and he said every project that he started, so he was starting all these new web projects, and they had to have different decisions that need to be made. So different libraries that needed to be pulled in, and different configuration options, and so you have to know about all of these things. So configuration contributes to programmer fatigue. The more stuff that you have to know about these things, about configuring stuff, the more fatigued you're going to get with all the new stuff that's coming out. Second phenomenon is maintainer burnout. So in the last 6 months, year, we've seen like people just rage quitting from the open source projects that they have to maintain. So a friend of mine, he's actually a Webpack contributor. So he wakes up sometimes and he sees like this kind of list, and you'll see that a lot of these issues are like having to deal with specific configuration that people have in their project. So Dan Abramov says that configuration is an example of the tragedy of the commons. So tragedy of the commons is where you have some specific shared resource that a lot of people are competing for. So for instance, fish in the sea, and if people start taking too much of this resource, then we all lose. And in this case, it's talking about maintainer effort. So maintainers have only a certain amount of time, and so if they're building in every particular option that anyone has, then they're just not going to have any time anymore. So it contributes to maintainer burnout as well. High mental load in teams as well. You have to keep in mind all of the different options that you're going to be using. So if you're going to be using Webpack in a project, everyone has to know about all of the different options that are available. Where did I put that last change with my Webpack config? How can you actually configure source maps properly? The one way that actually really works. And so what I'm trying to say here is that configuration contributes to actually a mental burden in teams as well. Also, endless bike shedding. I guess this image didn't load. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so you'll be talking about like ESLint configuration. Yeah, should we have semicolons? Should we not? Should we actually put a space after or before this if? Like, is this really all that important? Like this discussion that they had about what rules do you actually tend to override in the Airbnb ESLint config. So this had a lot of different answers already. So configuration contributes to reduced team efficiency as well. So what's the answer? I mean, like, is it all doom and gloom? Do we just need to like throw away configuration? So how can we actually reduce the problems that modern build tooling and modern build configuration provides? So I'd like to come back to our definition. So we had this generic tooling to multiple use cases. So can we actually get rid of the multiple use cases? Can we say that, you know, I don't want to do any more client projects. I'm just going to work on just this one thing for the rest of it, or maybe I just stop being a web developer. I don't know. That's probably not an option. So you're probably going to want to continue doing different projects, new projects, and have the latest stuff in your project. But can we do it a different way, maybe like intelligent defaults? So something like you have some kind of the intelligent defaults for 90% of the use case. So here's the fifth and last industry phenomenon. So it's the rise of low configuration tooling with stuff like Jest. So Jest has, we already saw yesterday with Christoph's talk that there's this philosophy of like a zero configuration experience. So you use it out of the box, it just works, and it has all of the things. So if you need TypeScript, maybe you need to configure some stuff, but yeah, mostly it will work for your project. Prettier is another example. All of the configuration options right up at the top there. There aren't a million configuration options and rules like ESLint. Create React app, that's another option. Okay, that's, yeah. Another example here. So that was one of Dan's first projects when he first joined Facebook, and it makes it easier to create React apps with no build configuration. I heard there may be rumblings that they may be bringing some configuration options in, but it's really slow, and it's they're trying to avoid this. They have all of these different packages that they are configuring, and what's great is that they actually document everything to the nth degree. So it's really they go through a lot of effort. The community goes through a lot of effort for all of this stuff. So if you are any library authors here, so if you're making any new tools, I would say one tip from me is try to resist adding configuration to your project. So as much as possible, try to do the sensible defaults, try to hit this 90% of use case. And so these are the takeaways. It contributes to programmer fatigue, maintainer burnout, mental burden, reduced team efficiency, and the new low configuration tooling can help. Try to resist adding new configuration. Thank you.